Oh, thank you guys. There's no business like show business, like no business I know. Everything about it is appealing, everything the traffic will allow. Nowhere can you get that special feeling when you are stealing that extra bow. When I was in college, I wanted to be Barbra Streisand and Meryl Streep, and I wanted to have a brownstone in New York, and I was going to be the biggest star ever. Well, I auditioned, and I have calluses on my feet to this day from all the walking I did, and all the producers I tried to see, and all the agents I tried to see, and all the agents I tried to stay away from. I remember there were several times when an agent would say, well, if you take off your clothes, I'll give you a part in a movie. And I thought, what, me? So obviously I didn't get any parts in any movies. So I would go to auditions and so many times, and I would meet people who were going to the same auditions for 10, 11, 12 years. And they would be doing temp work. Not that there's anything wrong with temp work, but I kind of didn't want to do temp work. I wanted to be a star. So I thought, I made a choice. 10 years from now, I don't want to be doing these auditions anymore. Part of me wanted to be a doctor, too. I mean, a 20-year-old's crazy head, right? My sister said to me, we were walking down Broadway and 103rd Street, why don't you think about becoming a dentist? Because maybe you'll have more time and you can still pursue your music. So I thought, whoa, that might work. So I did all the preliminaries, got into dental school, graduated, and moved back to Binghamton, New York, my hometown. Got into a practice, but I still wanted that brownstone in New York. I still had my resume and pictures and sending them out as many times as I could. I met my husband, of course, and I had my best production, my son. I never knew I could love anything as much as I could love my son. I got involved with a theater company at Broome Community College. Angelo Zuccolo was our director. He was a one-man show. He invited community people and students to work together. I was so fortunate to be a part of that company. We did 3 or 4 productions a year. I got to do children's shows with handicapped actors. We had a little person named Jean, and we worked with Whitey, who was an albino person, and we did children's theaters all over the Southern Tier. We even went to the Little People's Conference in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and performed. Then one time, Leonard Melfi came to the Little Theater. Leonard Melfi was a very prominent off-Broadway playwright and a friend of Angelo's. And I was really delighted to meet this man. He was very well known in New York circles. He wrote a play for all of us to do, and he wrote a character for me, Zatalia Stellabella. It was about an Italian family in the Binghamton area. And I must say, Angelo had quite a knack for casting people. He would often cast me as the prostitute. And I thought, nobody would ever really cast me as the prostitute, but he did, and it was fun. He would also, I remember this one actor who just mumbled all the time. And Angelo said, okay, David, I want you just to mumble all of your lines. Don't even try to say your lines, just mumble. And he did, and he was the most unforgettable character. One thing about Angelo is that he always brought the best out in everyone, and I've really tried to take that with me wherever I go. Well, my husband lost his job at IBM because they closed IBM, so we kind of struggled in Binghamton because we really wanted to stay because of my job. But then he got an opportunity to come to SUNY Potsdam and be a professor. We decided this is the choice we're going to do, and we're going to do that. So we moved to Potsdam. And I must tell you, I was a person always looking into New York City, always wanted a brownstone. I never knew there was anything above the Adirondacks. We got here, and it was a lovely community, and we rode around Cornwall, and I stopped at a rummage sale, and these two ladies said they were talent agents. And so, of course, I told them about my resume, and they called me a few weeks later because Salem Witch Trials was being done in Upper Canada Village when I auditioned. So I said, sure. So I got to audition and got a part as an extra, a villager in Salem. And this was with Kirstie Alley and Peter Ustinov and Alan Bates. And I thought, oh, and Shirley MacLaine. So I thought, whoa, up in the middle of nowhere, I'm in this movie. Huh? It was pretty cool, but pretty dull. I thought, all we did all day was sit around until we could get called onto the set. I was so bored. I would pick up garbage. I just had to do something. And the staff would say, you can't do that. That's a union job. I thought, oh. So it was interesting to know that after all this time, I wanted to be a big star. It was one of the most boring things I ever did. Then I got a call a few weeks later to go to New York to be an extra in Sex and the City. And I thought, should I go? I thought, don't miss this opportunity. So I went down to New York, and I got to be on the set of Sex and the City. It was being done at the Brooklyn Art Museum. And it was all day, 8 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock at night, just sitting around mostly. And finally, when the episode was aired, it was about 10 minutes of airtime, but I made sure I could see myself, and I certainly was in the background. So I thought, I love being in the North Country, and I thought, how could these things be happening in this little part of the world? It was pretty exciting, and I got involved with the Grass River Players, and I got to sing and act and write and do all these things that I've always loved to do. And I got to practice my dentistry, and I enjoy helping people. So I thought, wow, this is wonderful. I'm so grateful for all the good opportunities. And once in a while, I'll go back to New York City, and I'll go see a Broadway play, and I'll say, what if I chose that life? Was that a missed opportunity? And I say to myself, I may have missed the stars, but I definitely got the moon. And may I take my final bow.